Hello and welcome to another episode of Feeding Under Fire. My name's Simon Walker, I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Strathclyde, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about jam in the First World War. Now, you might have noticed that we're not in my usual venue, we're not in my kitchen, we're actually in my front room with my desk where I pretend to write my thesis. So the reason for this is I actually sat and made the jam, well stood and made the jam, but it didn't go particularly well. So I'm going to talk you through that process. If you want to try and make it yourself, then go ahead and I'll give you all the recipe and the ingredients, and I'm going to tell you some information about jam, how important it was in the First World War, and also show you a fairly disastrous taste test. Alright. Okay, as we move on to what is obviously a seamless transition, the ingredients you're going to need to make the jam are: you need 1.8 kilograms of granulated sugar. You're going to need 1 kilogram of Brownlee apples, cooking apples, peeled, cored and roughly chopped. Some plums, 1 kilogram of plums, stoned and quartered. I use Marjorie plums. And you're going to need 600 milliliters of water, and then a saucepan and a spoon. And that's all you really need. Okay, here we go. So you want to put your pan on your hob. You're looking for more of a half heat. You don't want it too hot. Add in all of your water. Put that into the pan there. And then add in your ingredients. So first, put in your apple. You want to cut them into small chunks. Make sure that there's enough so they can boil all the way through. As you can see, small chunks. Pop them into your pan. And next you want to put into the mixture your plums. Again, chopped as small as possible, obviously deep stoned. Pull them all in carefully. And basically we want to let them simmer until the fruit is softened for about 15 minutes. And of course, if you've got any more water, pour the rest of the water in. Make sure that everything's covered with liquid. You don't want to burn the fruit, you really just want to make sure that it's going to be able to soften. And you really want to keep an eye on this. You walk away from it, it's very dangerous, so make sure that you watch, and you want to get the fruit nice and soft, so then we can add in the sugar. So you're probably asking yourself, why are you talking to me about jam, Simon? Well, the reason being, jam was a really important part of the First World War. It was really important for soldiers. It covered a multitude of sins. You could put jam on your hardtack, and that would make it a little bit more edible, apparently. And it was usually a part of breakfast. Breakfast usually consisted of, could be porridge, could be bacon, and could usually be a piece of bread and some jam. And many soldiers in their diaries, in their testimonies, and in their oral histories will say the same thing, that jam was constantly around in the trenches. The main variety of jam was Tickler's jam, which was made in Britain, and it was plum and apple. Okay, so as you can see, it's nice and simmering. You can see it's changed colour. It's still a very watery consistency, but you can see the fruit has melted, and what you really want to be doing is stirring it. As I said, my attempt at jam wasn't particularly great, and I didn't stir it enough. More experienced cooks out there can happily comment on this video and explain where I went wrong. And as I said at the beginning, as a warning, whilst the rest of my videos will encourage you to try and cook it for yourself, I suggest we just give this one a miss. However, it's good fun to give it a try. And as you can see, I'm stirring it and I'm about to put in the sugar. And when you do put the sugar in, make sure you stir it, and I would also advise that you use a much bigger pan because there just wasn't room for everything. Now, obviously I pointed out that jam was really important, and I've said that jam wasn't something the soldiers made themselves. But it was constant. And I said before about having it for breakfast, but it could be there for tea, it could be there for dinner. It's very easy to store, it was very easy to use, and it offered something a bit different. You can pick any testimony of any soldier and they'll probably talk about jam at some point. Private Thomas McIndoe, who's a British private from the 12th Battalion Middlesex Regiment, and he served on the Western Front between 1914 and 1915. He's a prime example, as he said, that his breakfast usually consisted of boiled bacon and a liberal quantity of jam, and it was usually plum and apple. And then he said for the next day, they would change it, and then it was apple and plum. So it was the same. And this comes down to the issue of food on the front lines. Dr. Rachel Duffett, the food historian who's written extensively about the First World War, makes the point that food on the front line wasn't necessarily always scarce, nobody was eating rat. The problem was monotony, it was always the same thing. There's a poem from the First World War which turns up now and then in different testimonies, and it's Tickler's jam, how I love old Tickler's jam. Plum and apple in 1 pound pot, sent from Blighty in a 10-ton lot. Every night when I'm asleep, I'm dreaming that I am forcing my way through the Dardanelles with a ton of Tickler's jam. So it's a kind of satirical song, it's something they could sing to themselves as they marched or as they stood in the trenches and so forth. But again, the fact that soldiers were making songs about it, they were talking about it, they remember it. Jam is as much a part of the experience of war as many of the other stories you hear of gas and bombs and explosions and living in the dirt and the mud. Okay, so to finish it off, what you want to do is keep an eye on it. You want to cook it for around 25 minutes, so maybe a little bit longer. Again, keep an eye on it, keep stirring it, make sure it doesn't boil over, and after about 25 minutes to half an hour, you probably want to skim it and then turn it out into some nice dry jars, and when it's cold, cover it and label it. Okay, so once the jam is made, I let it cool and I put it into jars. So I've got some of the jars here, got smaller jars, and I've got kind of a bigger jar and so forth. And do you know what? It looks quite good. Now, interestingly, the first half of the video, the one that you've just watched, I actually made about 4 months ago, and I've kept this ever since. It was no experiment, it wasn't like the hardtack, which I've still got from the first video, which was over a year ago now, which I've still got no intention of trying to eat. And it was more that I made it and then never got a chance to finish this video. And I've got no intention of eating this particular jam because it's probably not the best for me. But I do have a video for you to see where I actually fed it to my children who didn't particularly like it. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so now we're going to do a taste test, and I've got two very special people to give me a help, and these are my children, Oliver and Isaac. So guys, you going to say hi? You gonna wave?
Hello. Hello.
Good boys. Okay, so we're going to try the jam that Daddy made, and this is the kind of jam that soldiers would have in the First World War, okay? And they would have it in tins. Now you guys are going to have it in your porridge. You just want to try it with a spoon?
I want some.
You want that one? Okay. Right, so it's the same jam. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
So you can open that.
Uh-huh.
And how much does Isaac want?
What do you think? Do you think it looks thick?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yucky.
Yucky? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Slimy.
Right. What kind is it?
Slimy says.
Okay. Do you want to give it a try? Right, there we go. Ready?
Go. 1, 2, 3.
Tell the camera. What do you think? Good? Do you like it? Would you eat it all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right, so do you want some in your porridge? Right, will you just try it on the spoon for Dad?
Just
Okay.
not too much.
Alright, just a tiny bit, okay.
Yeah.
Right, ready? Tell the camera what you think. Tell the camera. Show the camera your face. Seriously.
I don't like it.
No? Why not?
I don't like it.
Now I apologise for the poor quality of that particular film. Never try and record kids. Like, I'm going to try animals next, but that was about 7 takes it took to get that particular footage. My youngest, Isaac, thought it was quite nice. My eldest thought it was absolutely disgusting and refused to try it ever again. In fact, he's refused to try any of my cooking ever again, so this is what I'm sacrificing for these videos. But I tried it at the time, it wasn't particularly good. Now that may have something to do with my particular recipe, but imagine having to eat this is the only sweet thing, different, a little bit of variety, trying to cover up for some of the other food in the midst of living in a trench. It's not something I particularly want to eat either, so I don't particularly blame them. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Feeding on a Fire. It's not the usual format, and for the next one we'll go back to being in the kitchen. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.